Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is another day, it's another you, it's another me, it's another game of Age of Mythology Retold. In the left-hand corner of the map, everyone's favorite Poseidon-only player has misclicked Ra, and he is now going in with Ra. His name is Mosca. His opponent today in the red color, everyone's favorite Norse player apparently. He plays a little bit of Zeus as well on the side, but his name in-game at the moment is Bones, but you know him better as Kido, the machine. The map is Ghost Lake, and this game is going to be a cracker. I already know it. We've got two players who I think have got very similar styles. In that, well, Bones is going to be one of those players that really doesn't want to give up the map or give weaknesses up on the map. He's going to go in and take it. If he sees any sort of opportunity to grab this gold mine, he's going to come over and wall this up. He's going to wall this up, and he's going to say, this is my position here. Even though on Ghost Lake, walls are very, very difficult to get value out of, he's going to go for that. And same too for Mosca. Mosca's going to come down onto this bottom side and do exactly the same thing. Claim this, potentially also claim this over here. He might even be able to claim this. There's a lot of gold mines on this map, so it's not going to be a big deal, but at least not in the early stages, but it will help moving into the next part. They're both very fundamentally sound, and because of that, it's a very, very good time to be watching these guys playing. So, yes, I'm excited to see this one. I think that of all of the Norse gods, Thor is going to be one of the Norse gods you're most happy to play when playing against Egyptian at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see how it all shapes up as a temple coming up here for Mosca on this side. And he's going to be heading to the next age fairly quickly. I have been noticing that Ra players, even on a map where they don't have to build a granary, are getting a little bit short resources for this 4-minute advance time. Maybe if he'd force drop there, he could have advanced. But I've been noticing this, and I'm not exactly sure if it's just like nobody wants that 4-minute advance time, because it is definitely possible, or if it's more along the lines of, you know, 4:15 advancing a little bit later it's just not really worth it, or it's not really worth it to advance faster, I should say. Nonetheless, Mosca 4:15 advance, and Kido on the other hand, I was having chats with Kido the other day, and he was telling me, you know what, I just don't see the point in a fast advance. And to some degree, I see where he's coming from. A fast advance doesn't really net you a whole lot in many different situations. And this is a 4:45 advance time, which at the launch of Retold would have been unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. But nonetheless, we now know that, well, in some matchups, there's just no pressure that you can do. Like, it's not possible for Norse to deny a second town center here. And the thing that I get worried about is if the meta ends up going into a more slow advance time sort of situation, then all of a sudden, players are going to start taking liberties where they otherwise shouldn't. And all of a sudden, the fast advanced meta is going to have to seep back in as a more metagaming sort of thing. Like if your opponent is going to be doing silly stuff like being out on this caribou nice and early and maybe saving their berries because they know that the Norse player is going to come in and attack them later on those caribou with like a later advance time and more stuff, then all of a sudden they're just not going to be there. So there's a lot of interesting angles to go for with all of this stuff and all of these ideas. There's a cheeky little healing spring coming down for Kido in this main base, and we've already got Mosca coming in. He's got the Sphinx. Up. Up. Hello? Hello? The story of the dwarf that could. The man with 3 HP remaining, sitting idle, wedged in to a forest here, not able to escape, but is able to drop into an ox cart if it was close enough. Oh, never mind. He's able to get out. He is all good. And he's getting healed back up by the healing spring. Oh, the High Crucifix is back. As the town center now coming through for Mosca. Mosca trying to put the pressure on all over the place. This is kind of the most I've seen out of Mosca in terms of pressure thus far. Generally speaking, he's much more of a sort of defensive player, but, you know, he does get aggressive from time to time, and especially against Norse, you know, Norse's kind of weakest point, so to speak, is going to be in the early stages of the game dealing with myth units. But then again, you want to be careful with going myth units against Thor, because the moment I see personally, if this is the way you can use this for your own knowledge, if you like. The moment I see upgraded myth units, I say, hey, you're wanting to build those, so I'm just going to start pumping out even more Herso, which then allows me to get more favor, which then allows me to get more myth units myself, and all of a sudden it's a myth unit army versus a myth unit army, but mine are a bit stronger, and I've also got Herso to kill off your dudes. So yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful going myth units against Thor, but you know, if you do force that out, then there is the option to go into Axeman heavily to try and deal with the Herso and maybe get less of those myth units out and maybe more of the priests out to deal with the enemy myth units that are coming. But nonetheless, no real significant damage being sustained by Kido at the moment. He's getting up his second town center. It is quite a way behind the town center of Mosca, but you also have to remember that with this armory, 1, 2, 3, 4 upgrades, a 5th upgrade coming in, that's going to be 1 minute and 15 seconds worth of town center train time. So even if he's a minute behind, which I think is a little bit more than a minute behind here, he's not going to be that far behind on the villager count. It kind of looks like he's about 30 seconds behind all in here with this town center, or well, 2 minutes behind all in on the town center, which is 30 seconds of difference in terms of villager production. So he's in a completely fine position because he does have the added bonus of having dwarves and all the good stuff that comes from then. He does have equal armory upgrades. He's got the armory upgrades as well, so that does help him. And now he's actually in front on the villager count. So all in, some good decision making in the early stages of the game from Kido. And Mosca, while he does have the Egyptian economy or the Ra economy, I should say, with the Pharaoh empowering up everything, the Pharaoh priest coming up here to empower up the mining camp over here. He's going to be able to get farms. He's in the heroic age. He's going to be able to get a huge amount of economy coming with rain, multiple rains as well. He's got himself 2 monuments up, so he's going to get quite a lot of economy coming there as well. I don't see a Migdol stronghold being placed just yet. There it goes on the front position, as the house on the front here is going to get taken out as well. And we see Skadi now coming through for Kido. Makes a lot of sense. Two things that Kido is going to be very, very scared of in this game. So 1 is going to be Eclipse, and 2 is going to be Son of Osiris. And Frost kind of helps against both. So I guess the most scary thing is Eclipse with a whole bunch of mummies. So all of a sudden, the answer to Eclipse with a whole bunch of mummies is to actually Frost preemptively when your opponent steps out of position, and then surround with the Herso such that the mummies are getting hit by Herso immediately, and also when Son of Osiris is getting surrounded by raiding cavalry, and you're able to actually break through that army, break through that sort of death ball composition. As Bones getting up a great haul, wouldn't be surprised to see an immediate hill fort getting dropped over here, as a Dwarven Mine getting dropped next to this town center. A little bit interesting there, as we see another Great Hall coming down. And Mosca getting out those Camel Riders. Does he have himself out any barracks? No barracks just yet. Just making himself Camel Riders, Chariot Archers, and all the other good stuff. So raiding cavalry down to the bottom side of the map. Mosca does spot that I don't know if he was paying attention because there's no reaction just yet. The villagers on this food for the moment will be out in the open. Camel riders are very, very close to support here, though. There's the hill fort on the front, looking to come up. Camel riders come through and say, no, not today. Locust getting dropped down as well as Kido. He's not going to be able to run away from that. He has to actually push in, but he does dodge a lot of that damage. A couple of frost giants in as well. Let's look at this. There's now 15 heroes out, 16 heroes out for Kido. So his actual favor gather rate right now is going to be shooting up into the stratosphere. He does, well, a couple of those are Goaty, so they're less effective. So only the Hursar is affected by this hammer upgrade, obviously. Hammer of Thunder. The Goaty don't get affected by it. There's the Camel Riders charging forward, but a couple of scary Frost Giants in to send him packing. But it's 3 town centers up for Mosca. He's almost up 10 villages at the moment as Kido going to be dropping his 3rd town center. And meanwhile, raiding cavalry for Kido, just getting the scouting in, trying to find what's going on at the moment. But both players, huge walls up for Kido now, just to secure all. I told you Kido would find a way. The longest wall ever to secure not 1, not 2, but 3 gold mines on this side of the map. And also a trade route. I love that. We'll see if Mosca is going to do the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. This is the type of Ghost Lake sort of division through the map that late game players are really going to love. Because they get to trade from the bottom corner up to the town center, and they can defend all of that trade route really, really easily, as opposed to splitting it in half through the frozen lake, and therefore having a very, very tough time of it. But with Thor, it's less of an issue to get a trade route going. Yes, you will have to eventually, but you're probably going to have like 12,000, 18,000, 24,000 more gold than your opponent in an equal world, just because you've got around about, I'd say, 200 favor to spend on that gold mine. But if you'd rather have myth units, which might be useful as well, might be better to do that. As the army from Mosca starting to charge forward here. The units retreating back in. We've got great hauls coming up on the back. I guess I should have this up as well. Hey, let me, because you guys might not really know what's going on. Let me set up a thing here. Where's the score? There. Now you guys know who's who. There you go. No more confusion. There is a tiny hole in the wall here as well. I don't know how he does that. He must not have pushed it right up to the... Obviously, didn't push it up right up to the hill fort. And now we see Mosca taking his side of the map. Very, very nice usage of the natural resources. He's going to have to wall down to this Migdol and then down to here as well if he wants to make it completely safe. Though the trade route might go... no, I probably won't. It's fine. As Mosca trying to break through, we see Tia queued up now from Kido and Mosca. Osiris, the god of choice. Marker coming up over here as well. As the longhouse on the front, looking to go down. As all the Putsukas are in these bad... Well, you have to remember there's still Eclipse. And yes, there is still Frost, but there's still Eclipse out. I think I'd be more worried about a whole bunch of mummies in this army than those Putsukas, but they are a little bit of a threat for the time being. Stone walls coming through, a whole bunch more upgrades to come in for Kido as well, as the timing is definitely on Mosca's side at the moment. The siege tower to come through now. The siege tower is really, really good against these walls. It has this explosive wall breaching passive, but does end up getting taken down incredibly quickly there as the Harako Sphinx coming in, sniping down the dwarves and everything else over there. Ursa sneaking onto the back there. The Goaty taking out the Pitsukos really, really fast. However, Son of Osiris is now in, and the damage is going to start coming in onto Kido very, very quickly. Frost getting dropped down onto the army, but leaving the Son of Osiris out of the Frost as the Herpman trying to charge forward, trying to get the catch onto this. The Ursa charge forward. There will be an attempt at some sort of a ghost building, but there is a Pitsukos in. One longhouse to come down, but not fast enough here. The army still chasing in to try and get in front of that Son of Osiris. He's taken a lot of damage. 300 HP remaining, but an Axeman comes in. Units get distracted away. Son of Osiris down to 247 HP, but survives. Now the Frost is gone, and something very, very scary is going to be cooking for Kido to deal with. The mummy is in. We see the Goaty turning around to try and deal with it, but there's going to be more mummies to come. I wouldn't be surprised to see that a Tef Crown come in either with a bunch of these bad boys. There are 4 monuments already up. That's a huge amount of favor per minute to come in, as the Rock hanging on this position just saying good day as well. And we see the Fimbulwinter, however, coming through as Eclipse gets dropped down in an attempt to hold on this position. There is that one single mummy here, but it looks like the Vomit doesn't go straight onto that army. It will be retreating away. Bones, Kido, he has to be careful at this point. Catapult can start rolling in here as well, but Mosca's economy is hurting. Mosca's economy is hurting in a really, really big way. We see Berserker Gang coming in, as while Kido doesn't have access to Bragi, he doesn't have access to the Super Berserks with Call of Valhalla. He will have Mithril Breastplate. He will have Berserker Gang. These Berserks are still going to hit like a truck. Plus, he's also going to have access to Bravery Huskarl, which are really, really good. Plus, they are Hall of Thane's Bravery Huskarl, but he will need to get those hill forts down, and very, very quick. However, the Eclipse, only 20 seconds remaining here, as Mosca trying to get his economy back into gear. He's almost back up to 100 villages. He's also got the trade route cooking, with one camel caravan coming slowly to ensure that he's going to have something. The gold mines are slowly starting to run out. Now Mosca can try and break in and take this position himself, but the army now starting to charge forward. The Goaty will be able to get some good damage onto the Son of Osiris, pushing that one out of there, as the units here for Kido, we're going to break for great usage of the wall, charging to take out the catapults here. The mummy is looking like it's gone. The Pitsukos out as well. Son of Osiris pulling all the way back as another Pharaoh coming in to join in all of the fun. The army for Kido is looking very, very scary right now, as Mosca needs Axemen. He needs Axemen yesterday. He's got himself 5 barracks. He loses the Son of Osiris out in the middle of the map there as well. He is starting to build some Axemen. Does he have himself Champion? Champion's not in just yet. They are heavy Axemen, and heavy counter units versus champion units that you counter. The heavy units are still going to perform very, very well in this situation, as the mummies is still getting sniped down beautifully by Kido. He's playing it really, really well. Berserk's coming in to try and take out these units as well. As can Mosca hold at this point? He's still getting more mummies out. These things are so strong, but he needs an answer to the Goaty. Now, slingers are good. Chariot archers are also good, but he's got to focus these bad boys down before getting out the mummies. Look at the favor for Kido as well. He's working towards a second Fimbulwinter in this game. Why build Frost Giants? Why build Trolls? Why build Fenris Wolfbroods when you can just get a second Fimbulwinter, is what Kido is saying. Now, one thing that not a lot of Norse players know is that the higher your favor count, the slower you get rewarded, or the less favor you get rewarded by fighting, I believe. Maybe someone can correct me in the comment section if that's incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So you will be able to get to 350 favor, but that final bit of favor, that final push is going to be for a little bit slower. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before on this stuff. I have this feeling I was told this once upon a time. Nonetheless, Kido pushing in. He's going to be able to take out those champion camel riders. I feel like when your opponent's making herdmen, it's time to just build nothing but axemen. Just build axemen. Axemen, chariot archer, maybe even spearmen. If you really don't have the other stuff, more barracks wouldn't go astray here for Mosca. He's only got 7. But now the chariot archer mass is coming in, and Kido is going to have to figure out, well, how do I beat Axeman, Chariot Archer, Camel Rider? He's now moving up to the top side of the map. He's getting a lot of these hill forts up. Idea is going to be Huskarl. Bravery Huskarl is a fantastic sort of early late game unit to run around and just destroy buildings and cause chaos all over the map. We're seeing him trying to get more and more of these hill forts up. It takes a long time, and it will be giving Mosca the opportunity here to take some more of this map himself. So Chariot Archers here pulling back. Migdol Stronghold coming up for Mosca as well. He's got 3 Migdols on this position. But the more of these hill forts you see, the more you need to get those barracks down. Does he still have just 7? He's still got 7. Yes, he's got himself levy. Maybe he could just get himself the conscript barracks and it's going to be enough. And now we see dwarven weapons coming through for Kido. He doesn't have himself the iron armor just yet. Breaking through these walls over here. Going to try and target down this trade route. This is where things get very, very dicey for the Egyptian player. We'll see if he's going to be able to get up here and hold it or not. As the siege tower breaking through on this spot, we've got the catapult to come in, help out. Oh, look at the walls getting. That's so sick how the siege tower just breaks the entirety of the wall. So sick, that area of effect damage. As now the catapult siege tower charging into this town center. This is scary for Kido. He's very much at the top side of the map, trying to make something happen. He's walling up the trade route. Mosca coming in onto the bottom though. He's got all the units down here. He can reset up over here, get that trade route moving up to this position, and that's totally fine. He's looking to try and finish the town center off, get a population advantage, and try and convert while still having some gold in the bank with that bottom gold mine there. We'll see if he can make it happen, but he's really struggling for gold at the moment. He can sell wood for the moment to get just a little bit more of a push happening here. But the army for Kido breaking through onto these catapult, not enough to take the town center down as they both get cleaned up. The Migdol strongholds will be up on the front here. However, as on this position, Mosca repairing up the town center. We see the Axemen are in to deny all of this. He doesn't have Horus, so these Axemen won't be able to take down buildings very quickly. But nonetheless, Dwarven Mine coming in. Migdol strongholds going down as well. And look at all these hill forts for Kido. He's got himself 9. And now starts the Ballista spammage. He's getting himself engineers, Ballista, all the units in the world to come through. He's up to 200 favor on the Dwarven Mines. So no second Fimbulwinter. It was all about the Dwarven Mines, it seems. As the Berserks coming down to the bottom position here. They'll find some villages. Mosca, in a way, probably doesn't need these villages anymore. Just needs the market, just needs the trade route going. Where is his trade route, though? He really doesn't have a whole lot going. He's got the trade sort of repositioned. His economy is really going to be hurting at this point. Got a question in the chat. Are Goaty a good counter to Axeman? Not really. They're not bad. They're not good. They're doing 8.7 Pierce. That's not bad against Axeman. But they do have 31% Pierce armor in the late game, right? So I'm going to say they're not terrible, but they're not good. They're like sort of doing okay. Now we see Secrets of the Titans to come through for Kido as he knows he's got all the economy in the world. He's got all of the advantage here as he cleans up this Migdol stronghold, putting down longhouse after longhouse. Mosca cleans up some more Axemen over here as the Berserks trying to take down some villages on that side. And a longhouse to come down. But Mosca, I mean, he's going to fight. If he's still got 3 town centers, he's going to fight, because why not? The Axemen are all out. Titan Gate to come down. Now, one thing that I love to do when this happens is I love to trim my economy. and just say, I'm just going to convert, say, 15 villages, 20 villages into berserks, go down to about 80 pop or maybe 70 pop and get this Titan Gate up, because you just don't need that pop anymore later in the game. These axemen are so good. The more I'm watching this, the more I ask the question I'm asking the question to myself, what happens here if Mosca goes for Horus? Yeah, Osiris is so good, but against Norse, specifically against 4-SETI users, you know, maybe it's just better to go for Horus and get Axe of Vengeance, Avengers even, Spearmen of Horus and all that good stuff. There's a catapult going to try and clean up those hill forts over here as well. But can Mosca deal with the Titan Gate at the moment? He doesn't have the resources to get one himself. And Kido is still not mined through all of his gold mines. He doesn't have the favor for another Dwarven mine though, so this could be where this game maybe gets a little bit challenging for him, gets out of hand. He needs to get another 200 favor. He hasn't even thought about starting the trade route. He's getting up 1,500 gold mine over there that's remaining. But yes, he's got tons of resources in the bank, but so too does Mosca. And it's all going to come down to whether or not Mosca can hold against this Titan. I guess during the Titan trade, Priest versus Titan, maybe Mosca, maybe Kido can sort of deal with it. There's a whole bunch of portable rams to come through and try and break through all these buildings. There's the Axemen clash here against the Berserks. Got a question from Rosas Meltrosa. So, how did Mosca lose traction? Well, he lost traction when he got his trade route hit at the top. I think this was the big moment. A really, really smart move from Kido. If he didn't lose that, I think it would be in a completely fine position right now. The Axemen cleaning everything up over here. We see the Berserks now coming back in. We've got the Norse Titan on the way. Big belly, big gut full of that Nordic ale. And he's coming in on a rampage to say g'day. Mosca still not taking into those priests. And one thing here that Kido could do to just put the nail in the coffin, as unfortunately we see the game ending, is Kido could very, very easily convert 50 villagers at this point into Berserks, charge in with the Titan, charge in with the Berserks, charge in with the army, and no amount of Mosca army would defend against that, because you need the priest to deal with the Titan and you need a whole bunch of axemen to deal with the Berserks, and you just won't have it. But Kido not going for it at that point, didn't need to. Mosca taps out. What a game here. What a hold. What smart decision making from both players in a big way. I think Mosca, like I said, maybe Horus is the better angle here for Ra in this matchup, but more importantly, getting that trade route as secured as possible, getting barracks set up all over the place so that you can get those axemen out where you need them against the speedy Berserks, and maybe double walls up. Now, double walls are great. They are countered heavily by portable rams, so portable rams can break through those walls and open up a space really quickly. But yeah, there was some really, really nice play here from Kido. Very, very deserving of this win, in my opinion. Statistically speaking, Mosca had more units killed, but economically speaking and space-wise, was there buildings killed as well? Is the buildings raised for Mosca is also actually in front. There you go. Very, very close, but Kido with the villagers killed up to 60 nearly, and Mosca with very few villagers killed in this game. Just a testament to how well Kido defends his economy. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.